All right, here we go. Round two. So, um, again, with what the Byzantine Empire is most um, famous or important for um, in terms of context of European empires was they did preserve Greek and Roman traditions. Now, I talked a little bit about that with Justinian's code. Um, but you're going to see a lot of challenges because, especially just after the time of Justinian, down here in Mecca, you're going to get this guy, Muhammad. Sorry, it's my sister. Um, this guy, Muhammad, start this whole other belief system. And as it grows and expands over the next few centuries, they're going to be encroaching in on this territory of the Byzantine Empire. So that the concept of like spreading, it's called Dar al-Islam. It's like this creating a global Muslim community, um, and it's not necessarily like vicious, violent takeover. It's building a Muslim community, and so that was uh, one of the things that those building the community had to um, figure out how to get around was the Byzantine Empire itself. Oh, sorry, but there's this fun purple slide here. Let's see what you can. Okay, so while we're talking about the Byzantine Empire and Islam, we should probably bring up Greek fire. It's this pretty cool thing that the picture that you see here accurately depicts. It really was a Byzantine flamethrower. It was this awesome technology where they took this Roman contraption that was actually used to put out fires. It was kind of like a premature fire hose, for lack of a better term. And they said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if instead of water, it flew out, it shot out this ridiculously flammable, sticky substance that would stick to water, it would stick to metal, obviously it would stick to wood, and the ships at the time were all made out of wood. So it was this really amazing weapon, and it was a weapon of terror, actually, just as much as it was a weapon of destruction, because if you can think about like the mental processing of having a substance that's liquidy but flammable, and it would cause the ships to sink, but then it would make the water burn too. It really was this amazingly awesome substance. We don't know exactly what it was or what it was made out of, but people have recreated it, which you'll see on this video here. I'm not going to play it within the recording, but when I post the notes themselves to Google Classroom, you can watch this video. The guy loves his job. The guy who like does this really loves his job, and the narrator is so like he's so into narration. And at one point he was like, now Greek fire hasn't been used in anger in over, I can't do that in my hand that fast. I'm so tired. Like over a millennium. So it's a pretty fun scene. I know you can watch that within Google Classroom. Okay, so as time went on, the empire, lost territory, it dwindled, it got smaller. It's not shocking. Every empire rises, every empire falls. Why does the empire fall? Insert normal decline reasons here. Overextension, the cost of maintaining things. They just lost control of territory to invading people who were stronger than they were. Super slow decline, just like the Western Roman Empire. But Constantinople, still hip hop happened in the city. There's no getting around that. Now, the schism of 1054 did not help stabilize the Byzantine Empire. It caused that great division. And when we talk about the Middle Ages and the Crusades, the Fourth Crusade, now, if you remember, the Crusades were Christian versus Muslims. They were fighting over the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem at the time, right? So these Christians were going to Jerusalem to take back Jerusalem from the Muslims and bring it back to Christian hands. Well, the map you're looking at, you see Jerusalem down there, right, in the south east corner. But that red line of the Fourth Crusade, they leave Venice, they make a left-hand turn when they get to Crete, and they go up, and the Christian crusaders, these Catholics, sacked Constantinople instead. They're like, let's just go sack them. And they do. They went to Constantinople. They stole all these amazing artifacts and historical relics. If you go to Venice today, there's the Byzantine museums that you can go to, and you can see all the stuff that they stole from Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade. It's like, it's shocking. It's Christian versus Christian. So now we're on to the fall here. Again, you can spend an entire 15-week course talking about the Byzantine Empire. And I'm summarizing. I'm really summarizing this up. But so basically what happens is the empire itself keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And eventually all that's really left is the city of Constantinople. Excuse me. So the Ottomans, they were the main Muslim force at the time in the 1450s, and they wanted Constantinople. So Mehmed II, if you look at this map, Constantinople, it's a peninsula city, and it's completely surrounded by walls. So the way that you'd have to go is to sail up here through the Golden Horn and then come around and start attacking this way. But the Byzantine Empire, in Constantinople, they had put a deterrent, kind of like the chain that Washington put across the Hudson back during the American Revolution, as similar, it was akin to that. So what Mehmed II did, it's really freaking brilliant. They go here, they dock up here, they cut down a whole bunch of trees. They take the branches off the trees using the lever and the pulley that had been perfected back during Hellenistic time, thanks Archimedes. They lift their ships out of the sea. They put them on top of these logs. The logs act as rollers, and they push their boats across this peninsula up here around that deterrent. And their ships then go into the Golden Horn, where they sail north in a northwest direction, and then they attack the city from this direction. And you're like, well, they have all these huge walls. How's anybody going to get into that? Cannons. It's going to be cannons. It's going to be huge, ginormous cannons. Wait till you see the size of these cannons. So now the food supply is completely cut off. And Constantinople, they're not giving up. Those Christians are not giving up. They're not going to give up. They're not surrendering. But they're out of food. Oh, gosh, excuse me. They're out of food. And some of them do resort to cannibalism. Don't judge them. They're going mad with hunger. We don't know what it means to be that hungry, where you go days and days and days without food. And your only possible food source is to eat the people who have already died from starvation around you. So now when I say cannons, I mean, wait for it, cannons. 27-foot cannons, ginormous cannons, blasting through the city walls. This major thing, they just had these massive cannons. And the Ottomans you're going to read up about over the summer, they're one of your summer work chapters. They're actually referred to as a gunpowder empire, because look at the size of the cannon. Really though, how did they even get these balls in there? They must have had lever and pulley systems, because those cannonballs are ginormous. So Constantinople ultimately surrenders, and now you have a Muslim presence in Eastern Europe, and they go pretty far. They don't get much further than up here. Vienna's up here, and there was a Battle of Vienna in the 1600s, I believe, that they lost, and that was the extent of the Ottoman Empire into Eastern Europe. but it's pretty. Oh my God. Okay, so Mr. Redeker strikes again. All right, kids, have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. I will answer all of your questions on Monday that you have, and I'll tell you a couple more stories. And I apologize for that last slide. Mr. Redeker is Mr. Redeker. All right, have a good night.